So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to smoke some dope, shoot some meth, and do half of the other things I've been accused of in the last year. Then we're going to do a video. So I'll be right back. So, before we get started, little housekeeping. I am fully aware that I haven't done a video for a year. And I'm going to be honest on why I didn't do a video for a year. Because shit just got boring. It's the same mod, same tube, different color, different engraving, different nothing. It was all the same shit. And that's just on devices. Let's move over to atomizers. You know, I got a K-Fun Lite at the time. Faked it very happily for the last year and a half. Tried to review a few more Addies. Couldn't find anything better at the time. Again, same shit, same airflow, same everything at the time. You know, so what was there to review? I said I wouldn't buy something. I'm sorry. I said I would not review something that I would not vape, and I would not buy something that I would not review. Don't take free products to review. And at the time, to buy a really good quality vape, you're talking about $300 or $400 at the time. Market's gotten a lot more exciting, for me anyway, because, you know, a year out of it, I'll tell you what, we'll save the rest of this for after the intro. So, this video will be about the Cloupor Mini, and here we go. So, last of the housekeeping. I will do a rant video after this about the last year and the state of vaping, just from my perspective. But I don't want to take away from the product, so we will start out with a vape. Cloupor Mini, 30 watts, Kanger sub-tank, cut wood, unicorn milk, with a little bit of cosmic fogs and nuts in it. I don't know what their blend is. I haven't actually even read the bottle. I just know I like the juice. Pretty killer little vape, little device. Very small in the hand, and I'll do just a hair of up close with it. I don't know, do I want to talk about the complaints that I've got, or maybe the controversy? Let's talk about the controversy first. A little while ago, I put up a post on Facebook, curious about all of the controversy really going on with Cloupor. Apparently the company, or the device, was getting some reports that they were blowing up. At the time, I thought it was somewhere around 50 or 60 units. That's about what I could find from the research that I was doing. Talked to some friends, some old friends in the vaping community who really had a little more knowledge on the subject, and found out it could be a few more than that. You know, so say 100 units. And again, I've spoke to quite a few vendors. I've spoke to several people who sell these. They make their livelihood selling these. People I know and trust. And I didn't hear from them of a single unit coming back. Now I've read some reports in Malaysia with a couple going out. I've read some in the UK going out, a couple in America going out. But generally, other than what I heard from one friend, I couldn't find any really reason to find that there was any validation that it was an extreme number more than what was being reported. So, even if we double what the vendor is saying, that puts it at 100, 120 units. They say there's been 100,000 of them shipped. So if you look at odds, that's about 1/10%. That would be failure in, even with me inflating the number 2 times, or doubling the number that is reported on failure. I don't live my life in fear, and I can only really report the device that I have. I'm going to have another vape. I'll have another vape and continue this. My experience, again, can only be, what is this device? How is it performing for me? And that's really what I'm reviewing. But I did come to the conclusion that if I'm going to do reviews of devices, especially the budget devices that still give a great vape, that it might be fair to also do research with, like I said, the vendors. So my next video that I do, the IPV Mini, I actually sit down. I've already recorded the content for it with a vendor at our local vape shop who sold a ton of them, and so that's going to be hopefully a good new addition to the videos that I do, is actually doing some interviews with the the guys out in the field selling them. But my first, before I knew of the controversy, my first thing was, holy shit, this thing is great. Especially with the new technologies that's in the the Kangaroo sub tank or the Atlantis, or kind of the new drop-in quality stuff. And I had nothing but just praises to the gods, because 2 years ago you couldn't buy a vape like this, period. To buy a vape that was even half this good required extreme knowledge of building advanced coils, and understanding Ohm's law, and understanding understanding product safety, understanding kind of the limits of what you could and could not do in the sub-ohm realm. And now with a device like this, and a device like a sub-tanker in Atlantis, anybody can get an enthusiast grade level vape, or at least what was an enthusiast level grade vape, for 100, 120 bucks. So now we'll talk about the complaints. One, the company, they fucked up before. Research showed back when they did the Hannah clone, they apparently did some really underhanded shit. They went about and deleted their Facebook stuff and deleted reports about it, and it was a much bigger problem than people were led to believe. Then the T5 come out. Apparently there were some issues with that. I haven't done a lot of research on the T5. I'm not reviewing a T5, but the company handled it in a similar way. Then we get over to the Cloupor and the Cloupor Mini. I haven't really read any problems with there's another model. There's a few models. When I actually go to research the Mini, apparently they did kind of similar stuff. They would delete complaints from their Facebook page, and that's a douchebag thing to do. But the device, if the numbers that the research that I've done hold true, a bad unit out of 1,000 is still pretty fucking good odds for a great vape at 50 bucks or 60 bucks. But there are some complaints on at least my device, and this may not be universal. So I'll get a little bit closer, and we'll talk about that. So be right back. Is this close enough? Alright, at this point I'm just kind of fucking with you a little bit. So the device, it's really small. Single 18650 with a magnet on it. Dropped it down on the floor. Complaint number one. Whenever I take my magnet off, the fucking thing that covers the shit comes off. I don't like that. I would like if, when I took the magnet off, the fucking thing that covers all of the shit there would stay. Problem number two. I couldn't find the fucking thing where it fell off. So it actually may have fell off last night. Problem number two. Usually, that's a pretty smooth process. But every once in a while, actually not every once in a while, pretty often, if I pretend it's been in my pocket, come on, do it. Do it any other time except for when I want to complain about it. I think I understand the problem now. So, I couldn't find the thing. It's not here. I took this thing apart a few times to change the batteries yesterday at at Vaporwise to swap batteries and this, that, and the other, and was kind of tinkering with it. I wonder if it fell off there, because it falls off all the time. I think that might have resolved my other biggest issue with it, in that whenever I try to take this off, it would snag, it would hang. And again, it only cost 60 bucks, so I don't know how much I really could bitch about every once in a while having to actually, use my fingernail to pop the thing off. But I've come to the conclusion, since I can't find that damn little piece, that what it was doing was hanging probably on that piece. So, my complaints are the little piece that keeps falling out and the lid hanging on the piece that keeps falling out. That's all I can find. I've used this thing for a solid week as the only thing I vaped, and that's all I can get. Now it does come with a little mini USB hookup down on the bottom to charge some shit if you need to. Need a little extra battery power in a pinch. I'm not sure if you could charge the device through that. I personally wouldn't do it. I've got a charger and batteries right there. So it doesn't seem practical for me to plug this up, which is my biggest complaint about something like an iStick on not having a serviceable battery. Because if you vape like I do, or the majority of anybody who vapes heavily, then that means you have to have a backup device, or two of them. So having a user serviceable battery for me is a critical feature. Going to review the iStick, and that's going to be my biggest complaint on it, unless it sags. Any other issues? I do notice every once in a while, when I get below, half, or say when I get below 30% battery, I do notice a little bit of sag in power. Not an extreme amount. Now when we get down to next to going off, it really sags to a noticeable level. But I don't know, it feels like a 5% drop off. Now I could get all scientific, bring out the numbers, vape it at the beginning, see what the wattage is, vape it at the end, see what the wattage is, or towards the end, and see if there's some sag. But I don't give enough of shit about it to go through that process. I just know I feel about a 5% sag when I get below about 30% battery. That's purely a feeling. It may be more, it may be less. I'm going to say less. Again, it is very slight. And I know when to change the battery, because it goes from a really, really good vape that feels like it sagged just a little bit to, what the fuck was that? That's not the cloud I blew 2 minutes ago. And then the next vape or two, it's going to go off and change your battery. So, minor thing there. But again, I have to take into consideration, I paid 60 bucks for this, and can I live with it sagging 5% in power when I get below 25-30% battery? Probably not. I don't know if I can make a big complaint about that. Now that may be some sort of weird bias in my head, because I remember buying shit that cost $300, $400, paying $1,000 for a device. And like, if I'd check the naked wattage, the wattage to the atomizer, we'd get all scientific about it and see if you're really getting what you're fucking paying for. Because at that time, it was a different market, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this new one, and it's very difficult to do. When it comes to the Cloupor, a lot of people are really, the Mini, which is what I'm reviewing, there's a lot of people like steering away from it. Reviewers saying it's the Death Devil, it's the whatever, and I haven't watched a single video on this. I'm not going to, because I don't have bias. I want my experience on this. I bought this from Denise Walker at Druthers Vape Shop in Tupelo. Super nice people. If you get a chance or in the area, check them out. Really nice store. Again, great people. They were actually out of stock, and this was hers. She had been using it for quite a few weeks before I actually bought it from her, so I actually bought this used. So that's two people who's used this device with no problems. Checked all the local vape shops. None of them had one return. None of them had an issue. I requested on Facebook's vape shops all over the world to respond. I had a few people respond that they didn't have any issues. I had one guy suggest that potentially the vendors wouldn't tell the truth about it because they would be scared they wouldn't then sell the product. I think that's taking it to a bit of an extreme too, because then it's that vendor's ass if something comes back on them. So, you know, a tenth of a percent of them has been bad. I gotta think of a single item, single industry, single product that don't run into bad ones. Now, how the company handles it, that's a different story. So Cloupor as a company, I can't give them 2 thumbs up because of shit that they've done on other devices. On this device, this one in my hand, I've got to give it like a 9 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10, because it fucking works. For me, it outperforms the IPV Mini. As far as I get a better cloud, I get a better throat hit. It seems to be a truer 30 than I get out of the IPV Mini. Although I like the IPV Mini, it's a great device. But if I put them side by side, I'd take this one. It's smaller and it feels more accurate. So that's what I've got on the Cloupor Mini. I think it's a great little device. You know, there's always going to be some bullshit that happens, especially in this community. And there's always going to be shitty vendors or manufacturers and distributors. The company's done some shitty stuff, but I'm reviewing the device in my hand. So, that's what I got. One last vape and we'll call this one done. Really good vape for $60 with a sub-tank, or I guess anything else you want to put on it. I don't know what the amp limit on the unit is, but you know, I don't see this as an enthusiast grade device. I see this as something a guy would just go buy with a sub-tank or an Atlantis for a great vape that was extremely easy maintenance. So that's what I got. IPV Mini coming, Kanger sub-tank coming, Atlantis coming. Going to do the iStick just because. Got the Tesla high power. Got the Holy Grail dripper. And so that's what's coming in the following weeks. We're going to review everything going to use everything for a week before I review it. So that's what I got on the Cloupor Mini, and we'll see you next time.